Imagine standing on the shores of an isolated Pacific archipelago where turquoise waters kiss volcanic cliffs, and the air is filled with the scent of frangipani and salt. This place, a jewel in the middle of the ocean, once belonged to a kingdom with a rich culture, fierce warriors, and a monarchy that shaped the history of the Pacific. Hawaii, now synonymous with tourism and paradise, was once a proud, independent nation with a deep legacy of kings and queens. But, in the blink of an eye, a once powerful kingdom vanished from the world stage, its people scattered, its institutions dismantled, its sovereignty stripped away. How did it happen? And who were the forces behind the fall of the Kingdom of Hawaii? Hawaii's story begins long before it became the 50th state of the United States, long before tourists flooded its pristine beaches or surfers carved their way through legendary waves. Hawaii was a kingdom like no other, forged through centuries of its own culture, language, and traditions. At its peak, the Kingdom of Hawaii was a sophisticated monarchy, a shining beacon of Polynesian pride in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. It was ruled by its own royal family, the House of Kamehameha, which united the islands in the early 19th century after centuries of tribal warfare. The first king, Kamehameha I, was a visionary who was able to consolidate power and bring peace to the islands. His story reads like legend, an orphan child raised in secrecy, a man who overcame impossible odds to unite the islands under one rule. He was a shrewd diplomat, an astute military strategist, and a king whose name would be remembered for centuries. Under his reign, Hawaii flourished. New systems of governance were established, trade routes were opened, and the Hawaiian kingdom became a respected player on the world stage. But it was not just Kamehameha's military triumphs that made Hawaii extraordinary. His kingdom was an exceptional cultural force. The Hawaiian people had a profound connection to the land, and their belief systems were rich with mythology and rituals that governed everything from daily life to the governance of the kingdom. Their language, their hula dances, their music, all were deeply intertwined with their identity. The Hawaiian monarchy was not simply a political system, but a living embodiment of the people's connection to their ancestors and their land. For decades, the Hawaiian kingdom thrived, its sovereignty recognized by major powers like Britain and France, and later, the United States. But as time passed, the balance of power shifted. The arrival of foreign influences, first from the West, then from the United States, began to chip away at the kingdom's independence. American missionaries arrived in Hawaii in the early 1800s, introducing Christianity to the native people. Soon after, Western traders and whalers flooded the islands, bringing with them new industries, new ideas, and new technologies. Yet, with this outside influence came a growing tension between Hawaii's royal family and foreign interests. By the late 19th century, the power dynamics were shifting drastically. The Kingdom of Hawaii, once a proud and sovereign nation, found itself increasingly vulnerable to outside forces, none more powerful than the United States. The seeds of the kingdom's downfall were sown in 1893, when a group of American business interests, along with a few wealthy American settlers on the islands, plotted to overthrow the Hawaiian Queen Liliuokalani. Queen Liliuokalani, the last reigning monarch of Hawaii, was a woman of remarkable strength and intelligence. She had ascended to the throne after the death of her brother, King Kalakaua, who had struggled to maintain the kingdom's independence amid mounting pressures from foreign interests. Queen Liliuokalani was determined to restore some of the power and sovereignty that had been stripped from her people. In 1893, Queen Liliuokalani proposed a new constitution that would have given more power back to the Hawaiian monarchy and the Hawaiian people. This move was seen as a threat to the growing influence of American plantation owners, who had already established a stronghold on the islands, profiting from sugar plantations and leveraging their control over the Hawaiian economy. These wealthy American businessmen, many of whom were married to Hawaiian women or had settled in the islands, saw their privileges and profits threatened by the Queen's new policies. Behind the scenes, they began conspiring with U.S. officials. American military officers and diplomats supported the coup, and in a swift, well-coordinated move, a group of armed American expatriates and their allies staged a coup on January 17, 1893. Queen Liliuokalani, realizing that her people's lives were in jeopardy, surrendered to the U.S. government, trusting that the U.S. would honor her kingdom's sovereignty. But she was gravely mistaken. A few weeks after the coup, the provisional government, made up of the American businessmen who had orchestrated the overthrow, declared itself the new government of Hawaii. Without a legitimate basis for their authority, they requested that the United States annex Hawaii. The U.S. government, under President Grover Cleveland, initially resisted the coup, but by 1898, the political climate had changed. American imperialism was on the rise, and the strategic value of Hawaii, sitting in the middle of the Pacific, was too great to ignore. In 1898, the United States officially annexed Hawaii, making it a U.S. territory. The Hawaiian kingdom, with its centuries of history, was erased from the map. The islands were no longer governed by a native monarch, but were instead under the control of a foreign power. The once proud kingdom of Hawaii was gone, its people relegated to second-class citizens in their own land. The overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy left deep scars on the people of Hawaii. Many native Hawaiians mourned the loss of their kingdom, and the island's political landscape was forever altered. The native language, once a living, spoken part of everyday life, began to fade as English became the dominant language. Traditional Hawaiian culture and customs, once celebrated and cherished, began to be suppressed. Queen Liliuokalani, though stripped of her throne, remained a symbol of resistance and pride for the Hawaiian people. She spent the rest of her life fighting to restore the rights of native Hawaiians, speaking out against the injustice of the overthrow and advocating for her people's dignity. Her efforts were not in vain. Though Hawaii was irrevocably changed, her legacy lived on in the hearts of those who continued to fight for their sovereignty. The question remains, how did a kingdom that was once so powerful and influential vanish from the pages of history? Was it the inevitability of Western imperialism? Or was it the result of internal divisions and a struggle between traditional Hawaiian values and the forces of modernity? It's easy to look at Hawaii today and see the beaches, the tourism, and the modern thriving economy. But beneath the surface, there is a hidden history, a story of resilience, of resistance, and of a lost kingdom that once stood as a beacon of Polynesian pride and independence. The legacy of the Kingdom of Hawaii is one that cannot be erased, and it lives on in the hearts of the Hawaiian people, who continue to remember and honor their ancestors. The struggle for Hawaiian sovereignty is not a thing of the past. Even today, there are those who seek to reclaim the island's independence, to restore the values and traditions that once made the Hawaiian kingdom unique. The history of Hawaii is a complex, layered story, one that is still being written. It is a reminder of the power of culture, the strength of identity, and the enduring will of a people who refuse to forget their roots. The Kingdom of Hawaii may no longer exist in its original form, but its legacy endures. The vibrant culture, the unshakable sense of community, and the resilience of the Hawaiian people are testaments to a once proud nation that will never truly be forgotten. Hawaii's history is far from over, and the spirit of the Hawaiian kingdom, though hidden beneath layers of time, still echoes in the land, in the people, and in the hearts of those who continue to carry its story forward.